Well, it's an honor to be here, and it is so exciting to welcome all of you back to Mary Washington. As Kayla mentioned, it's been 4 years since we've had this opportunity to say thank you to our most generous donors. Kayla, you're doing an amazing job. I got to tell you, so I know where Blue Springs, Missouri is, all right? Some of you might have been going, Blue Springs, you know, it's part of the greater Kansas City area. And Kelly and I, Kelly, stand up, this is my say hi. Kayla will always have a special place in our heart because when she was here to check out Mary Washington, I believe it was Kelly who noticed her, and was it your father or uncle you were with? My uncle. Uncle, that's right, your uncle, looking maybe for Lee Hall, where the admissions office is, and so Kelly was out on her walk and noticed them, and so she went up and asked, you know, if she could introduce herself and if they were visiting and if she could help her find, and anyway, they struck up a conversation. And we had a connection because there's a Missouri connection. I came from Missouri. I was most recently in Missouri, and so we were able to bond over that experience. I later that day got to meet Kayla and her uncle, I think over where Panera is, if I recall, and she was just this delightful young student who I was certainly hopeful that she would choose Mary Washington, but it's a big decision to come all the way from a place like Kansas City out east, and so she made that decision, which is a courageous decision to do that, and she has hit the ground running. And she has been a leader on this campus almost from day one, and so we get to see Kayla a lot, and it's really gratifying to have this relationship with her and with all the students. It's really what makes this place so special. I wouldn't want to be anywhere where I couldn't have an opportunity to get to know students like Kayla and the others who are here. And Kelly and I really feel honored to be able to invite students into our home on a regular basis, to get to know them, not only at Brompton, but also on campus and in the community. And we're always inspired by those interactions. I was earlier today, we had a celebration of 10-year anniversary of our honors program over in Seekaback. And so I had an opportunity to, yes, let's give a hand, 10 years. Professor Slunt and Professor Scanlon lead our honors program, and they do just a remarkable job. Their investment and their leadership of that program is really remarkable, and it's allowed some tremendous opportunities for many exceptional students, and it was an opportunity for us to celebrate 10 years of its influence on this campus, but also its influence on the lives of these students. And they had invited back some alums. You know, it's only been around 10 years, so we're not talking about alums from some bygone era. They're all relatively recent alums, so still young adults. But they were able to share their stories, not only about the honors program, but I think a lot of their stories reflected Mary Washington as well. And I won't take credit for this quote. I'll actually give all the credit to Provost Tim O'Donnell, because he was quoted by one of the panelists who came back to campus who was a part of the honors program, that she had remembered him giving a talk and saying that success in college is not necessarily about your major, or if you double major, or this or that people like to check and put on their resume. It's largely about who you meet and when you meet them. And I think that gets at what is core about Mary Washington, is that what makes this place special are the relationships that are formed. And the fact that we have faculty and staff and, dare I say, administrators who are here because they want to invest in these young people's lives. They care deeply about working with these undergraduate students, and they take great pride not only in their accomplishments as students, but also what they do with the power of this education with their lives. And we get to hear those remarkable stories, and Kelly and I get the benefit of hearing the remarkable journeys both to Mary Washington, their remarkable journey while they're at Mary Washington, but then to have an occasion such as this to hear about the journey after Mary Washington, which is so important. One of the things that we have been focused on here at Mary Washington is adapting to a time of great change. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. Change is the one constant we all know, but we have been going through a period of accelerated change. in almost every capacity. And some of that change was certainly occurring well before the pandemic, the last decade, certainly with the rise of social media, changing demographics, declining birth rates, so many things that are affecting higher education in general, but then certainly the pandemic was a major disruption as well, and now we have technology continuing to disrupt what we do, and the rise of artificial intelligence with things like ChatGPT-4, I believe, is the most recent version. It's really transforming and trying to stay on top and trying to adapt to those realities, and I'm really proud that Mary Washington is a place that takes that adaptation very seriously. And I know one of the reasons why I asked Dr. Jeff McClurkin to be my chief of staff for many reasons. He's an exceptionally talented and committed individual who's a product of Mary Washington, all important things. But he's also a thought leader in terms of, how to think about adapting pedagogy to this 21st century reality of the digital world. That's why he's our Vice President of Strategy now, to help us think our way through that. And I'm proud of our faculty who have really taken the lead in thinking about how to adapt a liberal arts mission to a 21st century reality. And if anyone has been reading, some of the programs that we hold dear here have been on the decline for the last decade. And there was a New Yorker article, if any of you have read it, about a month ago that came out about the decline. And I think it was titled something like The Vanishing English Major. Sorry, Professor Scanlon. I'm sorry that I apologize even saying that out loud, because I'm with you. And I said, just to let you know, I had a conversation with the president this week, and so this is an opportunity I have for people to come and just talk about whatever topic, and this topic came up. And I have the rector of my board here, so I'll say it out loud in front of all of you. If the board expects to be closing down programs in the humanities under my leadership, they've got the wrong president. But we have to adapt, and we have to try and meet students where they are and help them understand why a liberal arts education is so important, why these programs are so important. And so we just can't stay and do these same things, so we have to continue to adapt, but we also have to stay true to who we are, what our strengths are, what has always been good and true about Mary Washington. And to me, it begins and ends with the people who are a part of this community and the relationships that are formed. Boy, there's a lot I could say. I'm going to keep this short. We had a wonderful event about 2 weeks ago in Richmond where about 250 of our alums gathered together, and it was great just like this to have people were eager to come back, and I shared some updates about Mary Washington, and I certainly want to do that here today as well. But the main thing I want to do is to thank you so much for your investment in our students. It makes such a difference. When we think about change and we think about what we're trying to adapt to and the challenges we're trying to face, one of them is the cost of education. So much is expected now of higher education institutions, and we know students are coming to us with a lot of challenges, and we have to create a lot of support and support networks for those students, not only on the faculty side, but mental health and well-being, all of these things that are of great concern, campus safety. We have to make investments, especially as a residential community, in all of those things, and that costs money. And there has been a disinvestment, a public disinvestment in higher education that dates back really to the 1980s. And you can go in the 80s and 90s, and higher education largely responded to that through fairly significant tuition and fee increases. We kind of went from a model of taxation supporting higher education to really a user fee model where it was offloaded onto students. And so even schools like Mary Washington that are public, or at least semi-public, are incredibly expensive. And one of the things that we have to do is continue to create access to this transformative education, and we cannot do it without private support, without people like you who are making the sacrifice to invest in these incredible students. And it's an investment that will continue to pay off. As I said, we get to hear the stories. We get the privilege of hearing the stories and seeing the impact of your gifts. $2.2 million this year that we were able to award out of private giving in the form of scholarships for our students. 817 individual scholarships and awards that were given as a result of giving by people like you. You are making a dramatic difference in the lives of these students so that they can access this education. Otherwise, they would not be able to do that. And could you imagine the future of our democracy if these young people cannot be afforded the opportunity to get an education at a place like Mary Washington? We have a lot of updates. I'm going to go through them real quickly. Last year, I want to thank all of those who were involved in our efforts to have, I think, our most successful legislative session in the history of Mary Washington. As a product of that, we are going to be able to build a brand new theater on this campus, as well as renovate DuPont, Melchers, and Pollard Hall. These will all house our fine and performing arts. Again, critically important for the mission of this institution. One of the things I'm most proud of is that students can choose Mary Washington, can come, and they don't have to make false choices about who they are. Maybe they're interested in being a doctor. Maybe they're going to major in biology, but they're also passionate about the arts. Maybe they want to be involved in theater. Maybe they want to be involved in a theater production. Maybe they come here and they want to be a student athlete and compete on our track team, but they also are an artist and they want to be involved in studio art. This is a place where students can come and do both and do all and explore their interests and also develop who they are as individuals, what makes them who they are. This is a place where you can do that, and you don't have to make a lot of false choices. So very proud that we were able to get that across the finish line, and we're excited about it. I know some alums are a little disheartened that we're going to be losing Russell and Marshall Hall in the process, and I apologize for that. For those of you who spent time there, we are going to honor your time there, and we are going to honor those halls. We're going to do it over the reunion weekend this summer. So don't worry, Marshall and Russell will always play a part in the history of this institution, and we'll remember that history. We also got some money to increase our ability to make this campus more accessible, which is so important. I'm very proud that we are a campus and a community that attracts students who have disabilities, but they come here largely because of the support they get from individuals and the place that this is, the kind of place this is, the sense of community and how we really show an interest in individual students. But quite honestly, this campus is not very accessible. It's an old campus. There's a lot of challenges. There's a lot of buildings that we need to address that accessibility issue, and now we have some money to do that, so we're excited about it. Athletics, we've had tremendous athletic success this year. Very proud of our athletic teams. I'm most proud because they are true student athletes. That's why I love being a D3 campus. The D3 philosophy, we do not give athletic scholarships. Many of our student athletes actually come from out of state, so some of your giving helps those student athletes access their education here at Mary Washington. You might have noticed our men's soccer team this year made it to the Final Four. Our women's volleyball team made it to the NCAA tournament, made it to the round of 16. We were able to host the first opening rounds of that. Both our men and women's basketball team qualified for the NCAA tournament. Our women made it to the round of 16 in that. I could go on and on. We had a lot of success throughout our sports, and in the spring seasons we're having a lot of success as well, and we're going to make some investments in the athletic facilities out at the battleground, and we're excited about that. Some lights on one of our fields, some locker rooms that we desperately need, so we're excited about the improvements for our student athletes. We also were able to announce recently that we were awarded the Noyce Grant, a $1.4 million grant that is going to help us prepare future STEM educators. And this is exciting to be able to give the funding for such a critical need. Teachers and teacher preparation, I mean, that is our legacy program here. And if you haven't made it over to Seekobeck Hall, I'm sure Dean Kelly would be happy to give you a tour of that beautiful facility, the home of our College of Education. We're proud that that's our home of College of Education because, again, we started as a normal school. And preparing teachers is one of the most, if not the most important thing we do because of the impact they have on lives. You think about the investment in future teachers and how that investment pays off over time, the literally hundreds and thousands of people's lives who will be affected by the work that they do inside the classroom and outside the classroom. So we're excited to get this grant that is going to help prepare future educators in the area of STEM. And then probably the most exciting announcement that we've been able to give over the last month is the fact that Irene Piscopo Rogers left us another $30 million after she had, during her life, already given us $9 million. $39 million she has invested in this place and in these students. And I was telling Mark, as we were talking about Irene, we have so many people to thank over the years for the relationship that was formed. She graduated from here in 1959 as a chemistry major, went on to the University of Michigan to get her master's, had a career in that field. But what was transformative is when she began making investments, just like you're making investments in students. And she would come back to this campus, and what she wanted to do, and God bless Ken Steen, we talked about the relationship that he had formed with Irene to make sure that when Irene came back to this campus, that she would spend time with students, just like you're spending time with students today. She would get to know them. She would see what their lives were like here at Mary Washington, but most importantly, those students who were the recipients of her generosity kept her a part of their lives. They kept connected. She got to see the power of her giving and the lives those students led as a result of the opportunities she created through this investment. And that is what inspired her to not only fund multiple Alvey scholarships, that's full ride scholarship for out-of-state students during her life, an additional 4 as a result of this estate gift, and then a significant investment in building an endowment for what I think is one of the signature experiences of our students for undergraduate research in the sciences. We are now going to have an endowment that rivals any institution across the country to support students in undergraduate research in the sciences. This will allow us to compete for the best and the brightest in these fields. We could not be more grateful for Irene and her generosity and the example that she showed for all of us, how one person can make a difference. Think of the lives she is going to influence over time as a result of this gift. So thank you, Irene, but also thank you to you, because your investments are also making a huge difference in the lives of these students and students to come. And I want to remind you that come April 4th, it's Giving Day. So there's another opportunity to make an investment. Thank you so much for everything you do for Mary Washington. It's great to have you here.